No one saw the doors arrive. No humans, at least. Their appearance was witnessed only by animals. A polar bear consuming a bloody seal, a murmuration of birds shaping clouds in the sky, a pair of black kites hunting grasshoppers, a sleeping coyote, and a dog driven mad by the scent of rot. These creatures, though unable to comprehend what they saw, knew instinctively that the doors were not of this world, and fled. Soon after, humans began to notice the doors, and the chaos began. Across the world, 3 doors were quickly discovered, in Michigan, Australia, and Germany. These first appearances triggered religious fervor, media spectacle, and waves of public hysteria. People projected meanings onto them: divine signs, alien installations, glitches in the matrix, or conceptual art hoaxes. Some saw them as gateways to the end of days. Others claimed the doors whispered to them, promising resurrection or judgment. As attempts to destroy, open, or examine the doors scientifically failed, bullets bounced off. They resisted fire and water, and they ignored popes and presidents alike. The doors' unyielding mystery only magnified their significance. A 4th door, in the Flinders Ranges of Australia, became the site of a miracle. A man mourning his wife, lost in a tubing accident and presumed drowned, traveled there to honor her memory. He prayed beside the door, and after 4 hours, it opened. He stepped through into an orange desert, where he found his wife, cold to the touch, but alive. He vowed to stay with her forever. Later, back at church, he testified, the door had given her back, a resurrection, proof of divine mercy. But others speculated she'd never drowned, merely used the chaos as cover to run away with a lover. When questioned, she would not describe the other side or her experience. The mystery remained, and as she offered no answers, the public moved on. Some believers stayed. Around each door, communities formed, ad hoc towns, filled with the devout and the desperate. In Michigan, a new religion emerged, the Church of Fortitude and Blessings. Among its early members was a boy named Anthony, whose parents allowed him to attend public school despite their faith. He learned early to hide his beliefs. At church, he was well-liked, partly because his mother was called a seer, though this meant more than prophecy. She organized, nurtured, and guided the community. Before the Michigan door finally opened, she dreamed repeatedly of it swinging open inside their grocery store, by a shelf of eggnog. Each dream ended with the same voice, her own, warning her not to let Anthony go through. The day it opened, chaos erupted. A child was shoved aside by a man desperate to be first. Another boy, Mateo, a schoolmate of Anthony's, chased after him. They both entered the door together, but only one emerged. The man popped, no better word for it, into a burst of blood, bone, and fingernails. The other, Mateo, returned shaken, with golden rocks in his hand and the pink fingernails of the man. Anthony comforted him awkwardly, but instinctively, taking one of the gold rocks and fingernails himself, unable to process what he'd seen. A little girl present claimed to hear her dead mother's voice from inside. She said it was heaven. She recognized her mother's tone, the soft words, "Your hair is so long now." The girl tried to run into the door but was restrained. She bit Anthony's mother's hand so hard it left a scar for life. Meanwhile, Mateo described what he saw. Pink figures, shifting, too small or too tall, so bright they hurt his eyes. Some resembled people. Some changed shape as he watched. He said he heard his grandfather's laugh. These echoes haunted Anthony. He didn't want to hear his father's voice again, the same cadence, same post-meal cough. At night, he already sometimes thought he did. Anthony said nothing to Ayana's mother when they met years later in college. She came from a different world. Her religion's God was distant, old-fashioned, and his miracles included sentimental signs and symbolic acts. Her God didn't trap people or test them through grief. One night, she shared the worst moment of her life with Anthony, trying to deepen their intimacy. He didn't reciprocate. He never told her about the door. When she told him she was pregnant, Anthony gave her the gold rock as a gift. He said it was a lucky charm, passed down from a friend, responsible for the good things in his life, meeting her, winning a scholarship, doing well in school. She accepted the story without suspecting its origins. Earlier, she had seen the bag hidden in his desk, containing dirt, golden rocks, and what looked like fingernails. She hadn't asked questions then. Maybe she'd been looking for a key to his odd maturity, his distance. She didn't yet know him well enough to catch the lie in his voice. Antony didn't tell her about Mateo's second attempt to enter the door. One of the fingernails in the bag was his. This is, ultimately, Ayana's story. But she hasn't arrived yet. This is her inheritance. Strange rocks. A scarred grandmother. A father with secrets in his past. She will be born into a world where miracles can be traps, where resurrection is terrifying, where a door might open into heaven, or into something incomprehensibly alien. Her father once stood at the edge of that mystery. He chose not to enter. She, one day, may not have that choice. The doors are still out there. They open rarely. They never open the same way twice. They invite grief and worship, conspiracy and hope. Some believe they offer redemption, others, a test. The faithful remain, but their numbers dwindle. The doors never speak. They never explain. They just exist. And sometimes, they open,